the last game that I want to talk to you about, I don't think you've ever heard of. Nor do I think any of the board game community has heard of. It's called Gloomhaven. It's a sequel to Gloomhaven. No. No, I've started a campaign of Gloomhaven, developed by Isaac Childress, published by Cephalofair Games. The artwork on it is a couple different guys: Alvaro Nebo, Josh T. McDowell, and Alexander Elchev. I think I did it right. In any case, I'm in like my second campaign session, and I think I can say that I understand the hype. I truly think I can understand the hype behind this game. Aside from the fact that it is essentially, a small kid or the size of my tiny little cute dog, there's a lot to be had in Gloomhaven, almost to the point where it's almost a little bit too overwhelming. I bought the Broken Token insert, which cost probably as much as the game when it kickstarted. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that thing is a lifesaver.
Sure.
In terms of organizing all the pieces and stuff, but like when we set up our first game and we were literally taking things out of this box, I'm just like, I kind of was like instilled with this minor anxiety of being like, there's so much here. There's no way I'm going to be able to explore all this. I'm like, what's happening? And it's like to set up the first scenario, we're like digging through all the tiles and like looking through the 3 different types of trays that we have to set up all the different sizes of different terrain that we have on the board. But once we started getting into it, again, that Euro-style card-based combat is something special to be had in this game. You all pick a character, you're playing through it, you level them up, you eventually retire them, you get new characters. Like, the amount of content in this game is just mind-bogglingly stupid. Just, like, I cannot understand, like, that man is a genius when it comes to this game. Through the story building, through the characters, through all the different types of interactions, through city cards, through road cards, to the act of playing these cards and kind of having this battle develop in front of you and in the different types of attacks that occur or things that you do throughout the game. It's great. It's awesome. I just wanted to share that. Honestly, like, it's been probably weighed in last year a lot and stuff, but like I said, I'm looking forward to playing this however many times. It's probably going to get in a couple, probably every 2 weeks, given our schedules. But I want to share a story. I want to share a story with you. I went to Gen Con for the first time in 2016. It was my bachelor party, and I brought like a handful of my friends and my brother-in-law, who has never played board games before, to Gen Con. And I'll say that he actually did enjoy himself. He ended up playing Pokemon Go a lot, but he enjoyed himself, right? In any case, Gloomhaven was on, like, there was this battle 2 years ago between Massive Darkness and Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven had just finished up its Kickstarter, was potentially delivering to backers, and then Massive Darkness was about to hit Kickstarter. At the same time, this was when Scythe had just released. Like, Scythe was the super hotness at the time. So, like, day 2 or 3 comes in, we finally get settled in from the craziness of Gen Con, and we go and we're like, my friend Nick and I were like, Nick, I have this game called Gloomhaven I want to check out. I really want to give this game a shot. So we go, and again, knowing how Gen Con works with publishers now, like, I get it, but we went in the hall, and we went like kind of near the back, right to where the Scythe booth was, so like where Stonemaier Games was. And then right next to him was this tiny little 8-foot booth with Isaac in the booth and a little demo of Gloomhaven in the kind of like, I don't know what it was. It was a very tiny thing, and we got a demo. And that was one of the most underwhelming demos I've ever received in my entire life. Like, we walked out of that demo and we were like, oh man, like, I don't understand what just happened. Like, he seemed, and I don't know if it was Isaac. I think it was Isaac that gave us the demo. It was a little bit hard. Like, the the little demo thing had like these specially made like kind of like a rock wall or something like that. It was kind of like a custom made thing. It broke in the middle of our demo. Things like went going everywhere. And he was like trying to explain to us the whole concept of like the combat mechanisms, the combat things, and it's just like he has such a designer brain but not a demoing brain.
Right.
So we're like looking at all these cards and we're like looking at these cut out like little standees that come with the game and stuff like that, which is what they use now and they're totally fine, but like you could definitely tell this was a prototype. And man, like we came out of there and we're like, you could probably find my Reddit post on there. It was like, man, it was like we thought it was a good game, but it wasn't a great demo. And then sure enough, second printing comes out. This game has been number 1 on the charts for like over a year, right?
Right.
Like, just how crazy is that? So it's just fun to recollect that many, a couple of years ago, to have that experience, to now see this game essentially be the craze over the entire world, and still is today.
Right.
So Gloomhaven.
So we're just gonna add that again to the list of games I haven't played yet.
And trust me, that's totally fine. Because like I said, I've started playing this game like 2 weeks ago,
right,
or about a month ago. So that totally fine. Like I think that's completely reasonable.
So I think the real cost of Gloomhaven, like Gloomhaven was what, $90 plus like $9 shipping.
Yeah.
Isaac, you're ruining shipping for the rest of Kickstarter, just so you know.
I think so. Yeah. That was insane.
Everyone just cites Gloomhaven as like, oh, well, this is what it should cost to ship me if a 12-pound game. You're like, that's not really what it costs.
No.
But everyone thinks so because Gloomhaven. But yeah, so it's like $90. But the real cost is whatever table you put it on. You should probably just leave it there and never use that table for anything else.
Right.
Like I know, I have like 2 friends that have a dedicated table that they just leave Gloomhaven set up on.
Wow.
Because, like you said, the setup and teardown is insane, and it's sort of that thing like you had said before, where like that's all part of the experience. Mm-hmm. And if you set it up and play like one mission or one part of it, I think that would probably be fine. Or that would probably be underwhelming than if you just like leave it set up and just keep playing. That's what I've heard. Like I haven't played it, but from everyone I've said like, yeah, just leave it set up and then it's the best game you'll ever play.
Right. Yeah, I've heard similar stories as well too. And like I said, it helped. That is especially the case if you don't have an organizer for it. If you don't, yeah, leave it up. Like there's no point. Mm-hmm. To me at least, there would be so many baggies everywhere. Like you would have to buy a value pack of baggies, I feel like, if you wanted to get the organization right for it all. So Broken Token, Meeplesource, those guys, like you're doing, you're doing the work that like no other person wants to be able to do. Like that probably is a ton of different,
right?
Like so much organization and stuff to have it all fit, and it fits for the most part mostly flush. So you're doing the work of gods at this point, right? So anyways, yeah, there's really nothing much to really say here besides that Gloomhaven certainly earns its accolades here. I'm excited to play the rest of this stuff. And again, just have a friend play with it. I mean, if you go like the game has achievements. It's like if you've completed this whole game solo, like there's just this, like there should be like a sticker that's like underneath the box, right, that you have to like get open with a knife, and like you get this like foiled sticker. It's like, oh, I've completed the game solo, and so it's like, boop, you just put that on your little sheet. Yeah,
wear it with you everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have an open invitation, I think, with like 2 different people who would just be like, any day you tell me what you want to play Gloomhaven, I'll have it set up when you get here. And I was like, geez, all right. So
that's intense.
I'm gonna get into a campaign at some point. Like I know I am. It just hasn't happened yet.
You're in for like years of commitment though, unless you play like 2 or 3 times weekly, excuse me, and like you do multiple like again like 90 some odd missions, and he's got an expansion coming out, like Forgotten Circles. That is the like
for the people who beat it already, right?
It's the game that never ends. But there's, like I said, it's a great game that never ends. Gloomhaven, Cephalofair game.